At 99, Dick Van Dyke continues to surprise fans with his vitality, humor, and candid reflections on his long career. Recently, he made headlines with a revelation about Lucille Ball, his legendary co-star and fellow comedy icon, that left audiences stunned. Van Dyke, always known for his charm and quick wit, shared a story that illuminated a side of their partnership few had ever glimpsed. It wasn't the kind of Hollywood anecdote you see in glossy magazines or hearsay columns. It was deeply personal, heartfelt, and reflective, showing the enduring bond between two of television's most influential figures. In the interview, Van Dyke recounted moments from the 1960s when he and Ball crossed paths professionally. He described her not only as a brilliant performer, but as someone who shaped his understanding of timing, comedy, and the subtleties of connecting with an audience. What made the confession especially striking wasn't just the admiration. It was a revelation that their relationship had layers of mentorship, camaraderie, and genuine human warmth that had been largely private until now. Van Dyke spoke of late-night rehearsals, impromptu advice, and moments when Ball's insight directly influenced the performances in ways viewers had never considered. The story he shared also illuminated the pressures and challenges of working in television during that era. The 1960s were a transformative time for entertainment. Color television was emerging, sitcoms were evolving, and networks were demanding both consistency and innovation from performers. For Van Dyke, navigating this landscape alongside Ball offered a masterclass in professionalism and creativity. Her ability to balance humor, timing, and relatability left a lasting impression on him, and he recounted specific instances where her guidance shaped scenes in ways that would later become iconic. Fans watching him tell these stories could almost feel the dynamic energy of the sets, the laughter behind the cameras, and the mutual respect that fueled their work. Van Dyke's confession also highlighted the trust and rapport necessary between performers. Unlike many Hollywood partnerships that are purely transactional, Van Dyke and Ball's collaboration was rooted in mutual admiration and a shared commitment to excellence. He recounted private moments where Ball encouraged him to take risks, try new techniques, and embrace mistakes as part of the creative process. These anecdotes revealed a side of television history often overlooked, the unseen mentorship and personal relationships that contributed to the legendary performances we remember today. What made this revelation even more remarkable was Van Dyke's age and perspective. At 99, he reflects on his life with a combination of humor, clarity, and insight that only comes from decades of experience. His words carried weight precisely because they weren't promotional or rehearsed. They were honest recollections of a career shaped by collaboration, guidance, and friendship. Fans responded with awe and admiration, celebrating not just the confession itself, but the testament it offered to Lucille Ball's enduring influence on television and comedy. Ultimately, this unexpected confession serves as a reminder that behind every great performance is a network of relationships, mentorship, and mutual respect. Van Dyke's story gives fans a rare glimpse into the depth of his connection with Lucille Ball, a connection that went beyond scripts and cameras, rooted instead in humanity, humor, and an enduring legacy of entertainment. The magic between Dick Van Dyke and Lucille Ball went far beyond the scripts and the camera angles. On screen, their chemistry was undeniable, electrifying, and timeless, a combination of comedic precision, instinctual timing, and natural charisma that few performers achieve in a lifetime. When audiences watched them together, it wasn't just acting. It was a meeting of two brilliant minds who understood each other in ways that transcended the written lines. Each gesture, glance, and inflection carried a subtle interplay that made their scenes memorable, endearing, and often unexpectedly poignant. Van Dyke often reflected on how effortless it seemed when performing alongside Ball. Yet, behind the laughter and spontaneity, there was an intense professional discipline that drove both of them. Ball, known for her exacting standards and perfectionist approach, demanded precision, clarity, and commitment from herself and her co-stars. Van Dyke learned quickly that to meet her level, he needed to immerse himself completely in the character, anticipate her timing, and respond with authenticity. Their dialogue and movements were almost like a finely tuned dance. One misstep could break the rhythm, but when executed correctly, it created a seamless flow of humor and energy. What made their chemistry so captivating was that it wasn't forced. Audiences could sense the genuine enjoyment and respect the two shared. Van Dyke would often recount moments where a small improvisation by Ball, an exaggerated reaction, a perfectly timed pause, or a subtle facial expression would completely transform the energy of a scene. He, in turn, would play off these moments, elevating the comedy and surprising both the crew and the audience. This kind of spontaneity was rare, especially in an era when television shows were tightly scripted and rehearsed, leaving little room for experimentation. Yet, together, they created moments that felt fresh, alive, and unpredictable. Another key element of their on-screen chemistry was mutual trust. Both performers understood the risks involved in physical comedy, slapstick, and vocal timing, and each knew the other had their back. Van Dyke described instances where the humor relied on him making a bold move, falling, gesturing wildly, or reacting unexpectedly, and Ball would match his energy perfectly, turning the scene into a masterpiece of comedic timing. This trust extended beyond humor. It encompassed emotion, nuance, and subtlety, allowing the scenes to resonate on multiple levels. Behind the cameras, their rapport extended into friendship and mentorship. Van Dyke admired Ball not only for her talent, but for her ability to inspire confidence, nurture creativity, and push him toward excellence. He often said that performing alongside her was like attending a masterclass in comedy every day. Watching her work, he absorbed lessons in pacing, audience connection, and improvisation, skills that would carry him throughout his career. Ultimately, the chemistry between Dick Van Dyke and Lucille Ball was a rare alchemy of talent, trust, and timing. It left a legacy not just in individual episodes or performances, but an enduring influence they had on generations of comedians, actors, and television audiences. Every laugh, every perfectly executed gag, and every subtle reaction reflected years of experience, mentorship, and mutual respect. Their on-screen magic reminds us that great comedy is not just written. It is lived, shared, and felt in the delicate balance between two remarkable performers. Lucille Ball was more than a co-star to Dick Van Dyke. She was a mentor, a guide, and an enduring source of inspiration whose influence shaped the trajectory of his career. While audiences may have focused on the laughs and the impeccable timing that characterized their collaborations, Van Dyke often reflected on the lessons he learned from Ball behind the scenes. She possessed an extraordinary ability to balance humor with authenticity, delivering performances that were as relatable as they were hilarious. Observing her closely, Van Dyke absorbed not only technical skills, but also an understanding of what it meant to command the screen with confidence and grace. From the moment they began working together, Ball's approach to comedy left a lasting impression. She emphasized precision in timing, physicality in performance, and a deep awareness of audience reaction. Van Dyke often recounted how she would offer subtle guidance, demonstrating how a slight pause, a facial expression, or a change in inflection could transform a scene. These insights were not merely technical. They were lessons in empathy, understanding how viewers connected emotionally with humor. Ball's influence extended beyond the mechanics of comedy. She taught him how to engage, to listen, and to adapt in real time, ensuring every performance felt vibrant and alive. Van Dyke also credited Ball with instilling confidence and a sense of daring. On set, she encouraged experimentation, reassuring him that mistakes were not failures but opportunities to discover something fresh. This mindset allowed Van Dyke to take risks that elevated his performances, pushing the boundaries of what was considered safe or conventional in television comedy at the time. Her encouragement fostered creative freedom that would become central to Van Dyke's own style, enabling him to develop a unique blend of physical comedy, verbal wit, and improvisational skill. Beyond technical and creative guidance, Ball demonstrated the power of professionalism and resilience. Van Dyke observed her meticulous preparation, her unwavering work ethic, and her ability to maintain composure under pressure. She handled challenges, whether last-minute script changes, demanding network executives, or the unpredictability of live performance, with grace and humor. Watching her navigate these challenges, Van Dyke internalized lessons about perseverance, adaptability, and maintaining integrity while pursuing artistic excellence. These lessons shaped not only his career choices, but his approach to the craft itself, influencing every role he would later undertake in film, stage, and television. Ball's mentorship went further, extending into the realm of personal growth. She taught Van Dyke about humility, kindness, and the importance of supporting colleagues, reminding him that true artistry was not measured by fame alone, but by the ability to elevate others. The bond they formed was rooted in mutual respect, trust, and a shared passion for performance, making their collaboration both professionally rewarding and personally enriching. In the end, Lucille Ball's influence on Dick Van Dyke cannot be overstated. She shaped him not only as a performer, but as an artist, guiding him through formative experiences that would leave a lasting imprint on his career. Her lessons in timing, courage, professionalism, and empathy helped him craft performances that continue to delight audiences decades later. Van Dyke's reflections serve as a tribute to Ball's enduring legacy, illustrating how a true mentor's impact extends far beyond the stage or screen. It echoes through every act, every laugh, and every career that follows in their footsteps. The collaboration between Dick Van Dyke and Lucille Ball left an indelible mark on television and comedy, shaping not only the way shows were performed, but also how audiences experience humor. Their partnership represented more than just two talented performers sharing a screen. It was a dynamic exchange of energy, timing, and creativity that elevated every project they worked on. Each interaction, whether a carefully scripted scene or an improvised moment, contributed to a legacy that continues to influence television today. Audiences may remember the laughs and the unforgettable moments, but a real impact lies in how Van Dyke and Ball redefined comedic standards. They demonstrated that physical comedy, clever wordplay, and emotional nuance could coexist seamlessly, creating performances that were layered, intelligent, and wildly entertaining. Their approach to timing, knowing exactly when to pause, exaggerate, or subvert expectation, became a blueprint for future comedians. Every scene they shared offered lessons in precision, collaboration, and the delicate balance between spontaneity and discipline. Their collaboration also broke new ground in how male and female performers interacted on screen. At a time when television often relied on rigid gender roles and predictable dynamics, Van Dyke and Ball brought a refreshing sense of equality, wit, and mutual respect to their performances. They played off each other's strengths, pushing one another to deliver moments that felt authentic and alive. This synergy made their work relatable to audiences and allowed their humor to transcend generational boundaries. Even decades later, viewers can sense the effortless rapport and shared understanding that made every scene sparkle. Beyond performance, their partnership influenced the production and writing of television comedy. Writers and directors quickly recognized that Van Dyke and Ball could handle complex, fast-paced comedic sequences that would have challenged lesser actors. Their ability to deliver intricate timing, physical gags, and layered humor expanded the creative possibilities of television, encouraging more ambitious scripts, experimental camera work, and risk-taking in comedy. They showed that with the right performers, humor could be bold, sophisticated, and boundary-pushing without losing its accessibility. The cultural impact of their collaboration cannot be overlooked. Their work brought families together in front of the television, offering laughter during an era of social change and uncertainty. The joy, cleverness, and precision they brought to each episode provided not only entertainment, but also a shared cultural touchstone that generations of viewers continue to celebrate. The influence extended to other performers, inspiring countless comedians, actors, and writers to study their timing, chemistry, and ability to connect with an audience. Even beyond television, their collaboration symbolized the power of mentorship, trust, and creative partnership. The lessons Van Dyke learned from Ball about timing, risk-taking, professionalism, and empathy echoed throughout his career and contributed to his long-standing success in film, stage, and television. Together, they left a standard of excellence that remains a benchmark for performers today. In essence, the impact of their collaboration was profound, lasting, and multifaceted. It reshaped television comedy, inspired future performers, and created moments that remain timeless in collective memory of audiences worldwide. Van Dyke and Ball proved that when two extraordinary talents come together, The result can redefine a medium, leaving a legacy that resonates far beyond their time on screen. As Dick Van Dyke approaches a centennial, his career offers a masterclass in longevity, versatility, and timeless appeal. Few performers in history have maintained relevance across decades, seamlessly transitioning from stage to television to film, and yet Van Dyke has done so with charm, skill, and a consistently engaging presence. His reflections now, at 99 years old, carry a weight and perspective that only a life spent in the spotlight can offer, providing fans with insight into the triumphs, challenges, and defining moments that shaped one of the most remarkable careers in entertainment history. Van Dyke's career began long before he became a household name. Early experiences in radio, television, and theater gave him a foundation in timing, vocal control, and stage presence that would prove invaluable. These formative years also instilled in him a work ethic and resilience essential to navigating the competitive entertainment industry. He credits much of his success to these early lessons, which taught him to embrace both opportunity and failure with equal grace. Every misstep became a learning experience. Every small victory a stepping stone toward larger achievements. Central to his storied career was his collaboration with Lucille Ball, whose influence, mentorship, and friendship shaped his approach to performance. Van Dyke often recounts how Ball's guidance helped him develop confidence, hone comedic timing, and embrace the improvisational elements of performance that set him apart. Working alongside Ball offered both inspiration and a benchmark for excellence, elevating Van Dyke's own standards and teaching him the value of collaboration in achieving artistry. The lessons he learned extended far beyond individual scenes or shows. They became guiding principles for every project he undertook thereafter. Beyond television, Van Dyke's career expanded into film and musical theater, showcasing his versatility and ability to adapt to different formats and audiences. Roles in classics like Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang highlighted his charm, charisma, and ability to connect with viewers of all ages. His physicality, voice, and expressive gestures translated seamlessly across mediums, demonstrating a rare combination of skill and instinct. Each performance built upon the lessons of his earlier work, creating a cumulative body of work that is as impressive in scope as it is in impact. Reflecting on a career that spans more than 7 decades, Van Dyke acknowledges the importance of mentorship, creativity, and maintaining a sense of joy in the work. His recent confession about Lucille Ball offers not only a glimpse into their personal relationship, but also a lens through which to understand the collaborative spirit and dedication that defined his professional life. Fans see in his stories a performer who never lost curiosity, never stopped learning, and who continues to find inspiration in the craft even today. Ultimately, Van Dyke's reflections underscore the enduring nature of passion and artistry. His career is a testament to the value of hard work, collaboration, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. It reminds us that true performers are shaped not only by talent, but by the relationships, lessons, and experiences that define their journey. As he looks back, Van Dyke embodies a living history of television, film, and theater, a career that continues to inspire, entertain, and resonate with audiences across generations. Lucille Ball's impact on entertainment is impossible to overstate, and her influence on Dick Van Dyke remains a defining element of his career. While Ball is celebrated for her iconic performances, impeccable comedic timing, and fearless creativity, her legacy extends far beyond the screen. For Van Dyke, working alongside her was not just a professional milestone, it was an education in excellence, artistry, and the subtle mechanics of comedy. Ball's approach to performance, her dedication to craft, and her ability to inspire those around her left an imprint that continues to resonate decades later. Van Dyke frequently credits Ball with teaching him lessons that no script or director could impart. She demonstrated the importance of preparation, attention to detail, and the courage to take risks. Through her mentorship, he learned that comedy requires both precision and playfulness, that the smallest gestures, a well-timed pause, or a carefully delivered line could elevate a scene from good to unforgettable. Ball's influence shaped not only Van Dyke's timing and delivery, but also his philosophy of performance, to connect with audiences authentically while pushing creative boundaries. Beyond technical skill, Ball's mentorship exemplified leadership and generosity. On set, she encouraged creativity, supported experimentation, and nurtured young talent. Van Dyke often recalled moments when she patiently guided him through challenging scenes, offering insight that blended humor, emotional resonance, and human understanding. This mentorship was not about ego or control. It was about elevating the work and empowering others to reach their potential. The lessons he absorbed from Ball went beyond acting. They were life lessons in collaboration, empathy, and resilience. Ball's influence also extended culturally and historically. She broke barriers in an industry dominated by rigid norms and expectations, particularly for women. Her pioneering work as an actor, producer, and businesswoman paved the way for future generations, demonstrating that talent, vision, and determination could overcome limitations. For Van Dyke, witnessing her navigate the challenges of Hollywood provided inspiration and insight. Her courage to innovate and challenge conventions showed him that greatness requires more than talent. It requires boldness, adaptability, and vision. Even today, Van Dyke reflects on Ball's enduring impact with gratitude and admiration. Her lessons shaped the way he approached performance, informed the creative decisions, and influenced the relationships he built throughout his career. Their partnership exemplifies the profound effect one individual can have on another's trajectory, illustrating the power of mentorship and collaboration in cultivating talent and inspiring excellence. Ultimately, Lucille Ball's enduring influence on Dick Van Dyke is a testament to her genius, generosity, and vision. Through her mentorship, guidance, and example, she left an indelible mark on one of comedy's most celebrated performers, shaping not only his work, but his approach to life and art. Her legacy continues to inspire audiences, performers, and storytellers, reminding us that true impact is measured not only by the applause of today, but by the generations of talent nurtured and inspired for years to come. Dick Van Dyke's recent revelations about Lucille Ball serve as a vivid reminder of the profound connections, mentorship, and creative partnerships that define the entertainment world. At 99, Van Dyke reflects not only on a career filled with iconic performances, but also on the personal relationships that shaped him as an artist and as a person. His confession offers fans a rare glimpse into the depth of his bond with Ball, showing that their connection went far beyond scripts, cameras, and stage directions. It was rooted in mutual respect, admiration, and a shared love for the craft of comedy. The legacy of their collaboration continues to resonate today, influencing not only performers, but the broader landscape of television and film. Van Dyke's reflections reveal that the magic audiences experienced on screen was built on trust, mentorship, and countless hours of collaboration behind the scenes. Every laugh, every perfectly executed gag, and every subtle moment of timing was a product of an intricate partnership where both performers elevated each other. The world witnessed the results, but few got a glimpse of the work, care, and guidance that made it possible. Beyond professional achievements, this story emphasizes the human side of artistry. Van Dyke's words illustrate the lasting power of guidance, encouragement, and example in shaping careers and fostering talent. Lucille Ball's influence extended well beyond comedic technique. She modeled professionalism, resilience, and innovation, leaving a blueprint that Van Dyke carried throughout his own extraordinary career. The lessons she imparted about timing, audience engagement, risk-taking, and authenticity became integral to his craft, influencing countless performances that followed, from television to film to stage. Reflecting on these decades-long contributions also allows audiences to appreciate the historical and cultural significance of their work. Van Dyke and Ball operated during a transformative era in television history. Their performances set new benchmarks for what comedy could achieve, blending humor, emotion, and innovation in ways that captivated millions. Van Dyke's stories remind us that behind every iconic performance lies an intricate web of mentorship, collaboration, and dedication. He emphasizes that greatness is rarely a solitary endeavor. It thrives in the spaces where talent meets guidance, support, and shared vision. In closing, Dick Van Dyke's revelation about Lucille Ball enriches our understanding of both legends. It reminds us that beyond the laughter, applause, and accolades, there are relationships that mold, inspire, and elevate performers to their highest potential. Ball's enduring influence on Van Dyke is a testament to the transformative power of mentorship and the lasting impact one individual can have on another's life and work. Their story is not only a celebration of comedy and entertainment, but also of humanity, partnership, and the timeless pursuit of excellence.